Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Nerd Herders. My name is Nick.
I'm Rich.
And today is the first day of the week. We're not going to do what we usually do on the first day of the week, which is movie news.
Yeah.
Well, news. We do video game news and movie news. We break it out for you because some people don't like either.
Yeah.
You know, etc. You know the deal nowadays. But we're not going to do that.
No.
Because we're coming out of the Christmas break.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't really any news.
This is the first episode of 2017.
Happy New Year. So what are we going to do?
Well, first,
I know.
we're gonna crack
That's
open.
what I mean.
We're gonna crack open this bottle.
Why are we cracking this open? To celebrate the new
Celebrate the
year.
new year. Hopefully, it doesn't go everywhere. This is
I'm
gonna
a
be
little
interesting.
worried about it. Welcome to 2017,
Where the set may be destroyed.
where hopefully awesome movies and awesome video game news will trump whatever happens in January.
And hopefully, not as many celebrities die. I'm really afraid of what's gonna happen here.
I find it's almost impossible to imagine as many big names. Like we lost Muhammad Ali.
We lost a lot of people.
Oh my god.
I think it's frozen in there.
No, it's very sloshy.
You try.
All right. Pause.
Okay, so we tried opening it in a number of different ways.
I tried a hammer.
And the scissors cut the top of this cork off. So we're gonna use a good old-fashioned corkscrew to get our way into this beer.
Probably how we always should have started.
Yeah, but usually you don't need to on these. It's like you just kind of pop the top off.
Woo! Happy New Year! Okay. Great start to the year.
Yeah, this is a great start to 2017. I tell you what.
So what are we gonna talk about today while you pour that?
So we're talking about Star Wars.
Probably for the only time in 2017.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
we're never gonna talk about Star Wars again.
Thank you.
I may add some more in there. I don't know how much is in the... Cool.
Perfect. So what are we drinking?
We are drinking Southern Charred Double Bastard Ale aged in bourbon barrels. Southern Charred.
Now, what does that mean, a bastard ale? What is a bastard
Maybe
ale?
it'll say it on here. When Double Bastard Ale spends months sequestered in Kentucky bourbon barrels, a most unique reverse transmogrification takes place.
Jesus.
A once burly behemoth emerges as a stunningly graceful beast with its bold, bullish roots lingering just under the surface. This southernized paragon of liquid glory exudes sophistication, exalted character, and uncompromising independence courtesy of American oak. Only the worthiest of imbibers are invited to experience a fleeting yet unforgettable encounter with this rare breed. This is what awaits those with the eye, heart, and inner fortitude to step up to Southern Charred.
How about that? So let's give it a shot. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Here's to a better year.
Better than that beginning. Oh,
That's strong.
yeah.
That's good, though.
You know it's strong when your eyes let go.
How strong is this? 12.6%.
Pretty powerful. We typically have like 5% on here.
Good stuff.
So
Good stuff.
very
though.
good.
This
very
is
good.
more of a beer review beer we should have done.
Yeah. Well, let's do it real quick. What pop culture figure would you most see drinking something like that?
I'm going to go with the Robot Devil from Futurama.
That's a good choice.
It's got the little devil on it.
It does have
He's
a
a
little devil.
bastard.
He is a bastard.
He's charred. He's living in hell.
I'll go with Joe Dirt. Hate that bastard.
Really?
I hate that movie. You
Oh,
like that?
that movie's great.
Yeah, how many times have you watched the second one?
I think I saw like 10 minutes
Did
of it
you?
once.
Brave man.
It was just on.
All right. Well, it's pretty good. So, we're going to talk about Star Wars, which I think the only appropriate way to lead it off. The unfortunate news that just happened as we're recording this yesterday. All of you are probably very well aware of this if you watch this show, but Carrie Fisher unfortunately passed away yesterday.
Yep.
At the age of 60 from complications from a heart attack, I guess. It's the best way to say it. Really sad. Really too young.
Yeah.
Definitely too young. And, it was, what was it, Christmas Eve, I believe, or Christmas Day?
It was somewhere right around there. It's like
She had the heart attack on an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Christmas Eve. And it really didn't look good.
Yeah, but then they were like, oh, she's stable.
And they kind of backpedaled on those stable comments the next day, but it still seemed like, the reports that she was, without a pulse and not breathing for 10 to 15 minutes, and it was like, God, no matter what, that's not good. That's a big deal. But then it had been a few days, and it seemed like, you know what, we didn't get the bad news. Maybe she will be okay, and unfortunately that just wasn't the case. I put up something on Instagram. I'm sure you have thoughts. I mean, the thing about Carrie Fisher is she may not be my favorite part of the Star Wars universe. Leia may not be my favorite character in the Star Wars universe. But those movies are better because of her.
Yeah.
She was an amazing talent. Not even just in those movies. She's great in Blues Brothers. She's great in, When Harry Met Sally, 2 movies that we had Dana do on Dana Explains. And she was a great, great, prolific writer, a lot of which, I knew about her novels. I knew I had seen Postcards from the Edge. But, I didn't really know the level of ghost script writing that she had done until the story started coming out, over the past day. Worked on some of my favorite movies kind of behind the scenes, doing doctoring to the scripts and stuff like that. Really impressive lady. And it's really sad. She's always going to be remembered. Star Wars is never, ever, ever going away. And, and she's a big reason why. I mean, the woman has the last line in 3 of the best Star Wars movies. What are your thoughts on it?
No, I mean, I think you kind of summed it up really well. I've actually never read any of her books or anything, so I ordered her newest,
The Princess Diarist.
Yeah. So as soon as that comes in, I'll find some time to sit down and read that. And yeah, it's just really sad. We talked about the beginning of this. This year, hopefully, not so many celebrities will leave us next year, or this upcoming year, whatever. There was a lot of really big names that passed away in 2016, and
for a lot of reasons, 2016 sucked.
Yeah,
it had its good parts too, but I mean, she was a big. That was a big blow. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely an emotional one as well.
We're still gonna get to see her act in at least one more movie.
Yeah.
Episode 8. It's gonna be really bittersweet sitting there watching it, as it always is. When you saw those last 2 Hunger Game movies with Philip Seymour Hoffman, and I've seen Star Trek Beyond with Anton Yelchin, who it's always Heath Ledger, Joker. I mean, it just constantly that happens. It's an interesting thing with the actors that they shoot these movies so far in advance that this happens so many times. But she's loved. She's loved by all.
Yeah.
The outcry has not ceased to amaze me as it has, with a lot of these people. You see how beloved some of these people are, and I think that her family, in a tough time, that has to mean a lot.
Yeah.
I would imagine. So for Princess Leia, we decided to talk a bit more about Star Wars, but yeah, cheers to her. But we're going to do something that we thought about after we saw Rogue One.
Yeah.
Which is, we're going to re-rank the Star Wars movies and together come up with what we think is the proper order now for somebody who had never seen a Star Wars movie to watch Star Wars. So let's start with our ranking of the Star Wars movies.
Okay.
So, let's see. We're including the 7 episodes and Rogue One as being, we're not doing the Ewok movies. We're not doing the Star Wars Christmas special.
Oh, damn. That changes my list, then. I want that holiday special.
So let's say there's been 8 movies.
Yeah.
We'll say 1 is the best. So let's start in reverse order.
Okay.
What do you think is the worst Star Wars?
I put Attack of the Clones as the worst one.
And for me, I'm also going to go Clones. I think it's Clones by a county mile.
Yeah.
I recently rewatched about an hour of that movie. And then I've watched the Blu-ray set twice.
Mm-hmm.
It's really bad. I enjoyed a lot of it when I was younger.
Yeah, I did too.
There's some really fun, sparkly, fun moments. The Jango Fett fight, the Coliseum battle, really the only live action battle that we got out of the Clone Wars after the Coliseum part, when you see all the troopers land and all of that. The Yoda fight was a lot of fun when you saw it in the theater the first time. It's just so bad, though.
Yeah.
It's just so bad.
And when it's all, you got all the shit with Natalie Portman and Hayden Christensen, it just doesn't work.
Oh my God. It's amazing to me to this day that they had Natalie Portman and they just wasted her. She's so talented.
Yeah.
Okay, so we both agree on Clones. How about number 7?
I would put Phantom Menace.
I would as well. I think for a lot of people, the gut reaction is to say Phantom Menace, but actually,
You mean as the
worst.
As the worst, yeah.
I just think that actually the way that they use practical live sets and that doesn't date it as bad as Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
And the duel of the fates and the fight with Darth Maul alone.
There are really cool moments in that
Yeah,
movie.
I really like Qui-Gon.
Darth Maul's great, and as much as I hate Jake Lloyd, the pod racing scene is
The pod
cool.
racing scene is very cool. It's a waste of time. It's a
Yeah.
huge waste of a lot of that movie, but it's very well shot.
Yeah.
For sure.
And we wouldn't have Watto without it.
We would not have one without it. Hey, Annie. All right, so number 6.
Sith.
Sith for you.
Uh-huh.
A New Hope
Really?
for me. Yeah.
Wow.
For sure. Definitely.
Wow.
Yep. I went there.
This just got controversial. You would really put Revenge of the Sith over A New Hope?
Yeah.
The fuck is wrong with you?
I don't really care for A New Hope. And I got the better remake, which I'll talk about later.
So should we say up front, Rogue One spoilers when going forward? Okay.
Yeah.
Rogue One, Force Awakens spoilers.
The thing with A New Hope to me is I don't care to ever watch that movie. Almost
Really?
ever again.
See,
Yeah.
I can't help but get sucked in anytime it's on. I will always
Sure,
put that...
and honestly, after those first 2, I'm kind of splitting apples and oranges. I'll watch any of these movies anytime.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of it that I just don't really care to see anymore. I'll watch it if it's on. If I'm gonna invest the time to watch Star Wars, I'll usually watch them all. Okay, so but if I'm gonna if somebody said to me, you can only take 5 of the 8 Star Wars movies onto a desert island, I would choose the other ones for different reasons. I really would.
Wow. You're fucking crazy.
Maybe. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Jedi.
My number 5 is... Do I really want to do that? No, I'll say my number 5 is Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
So why Jedi?
Part of it may have been because the first time I've rewatched it in years was the Blu-ray one. I hadn't seen it in a long time. It's just so goofy. It just feels tonally all over the place. I love the end, but everything at the beginning just doesn't parts of. Okay.
You don't like it? I love everything at Jabba's palace.
Some of Jabba's. I hate that. And again,
that doesn't count.
I know, but I haven't seen the original theatrical cut in a long time, maybe not ever.
Okay.
Because I think the first time I saw Star Wars was in the '97 special editions when they re-released them in theaters and put out the gold and silver VHS sets. So I don't know if I've ever actually seen Jedi.
Do you have a VHS player?
I do.
I've got it right there.
Let me make sure my VHS player still works. I don't want to use your tape. But like that's so goofy. But like all the Ewok stuff, like when they get there and it's so just silly.
Yeah. Yeah. But
there's
special edition with like the band and all of that. It's just terrible.
There's parts
of
that I really like.
I legitimately think that the way that the last third of the movie intercuts between the space battle, trying to take out the second Death Star with Lando on the Falcon.
Well, that's the second Death Star.
Well, that's dumb too. But on Endor with Han and Leia, and then with Luke fighting Vader, the way that all of that is cross-cut and everything is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Good. I love the drama of the third act.
Which I'm sure we'll talk about similar beats when we get to
Luke finding out that Leia's his sister.
Yeah.
All of that, it's just, I think that the way it expands that, the way that it concludes the trilogy is all fantastic. Mm-hmm. It would be my... No, it wouldn't be my next one. But that movie, for my entire youth, up until 6 or 7 years ago, I would have considered my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But there are issues that you start to realize as you get older that have pushed it down for me, not as far as you. But what is your next movie?
Well, before I do that, do you have anything for Sith?
Oh, okay. For Sith, I mean, I think it's far and away the best of the prequels.
Yeah, I agree.
It has a lot of issues. It has dialogue issues, but I think that it is definitely the best one. I love the turn of Anakin in that movie. I think is actually very strong. I think that really that's awful. That's terrible. It almost ruins the entire movie. But honestly, what kind of drives that movie, besides it just overall being the strongest of those prequels, is Obi-Wan and Anakin's the path that they take in this movie, and then the fight at the end is really good. There's a lot of emotion. The most emotion in any fight besides, I would say, the Vader-Luke fight at the end of Jedi. Really, really dig a lot of that movie. It's like the shiny part of a terrible turd that is the original, or the prequels. All right, what is your number 4?
My number 4, and at this point, I also want to say, I mean, we're getting into like...
Yeah, it's gray zones.
Yeah, it's so close. Like, there's not... my next one would be, I think, episode 7, probably.
Oh, wow. For me, it'd be Rogue.
Okay.
Now, I've only seen Rogue One the one time so far. You've seen it a couple times now. It's I'm surprised, actually, to hear, though, that you put... And for now, that you put Rogue One over 7.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so, yeah, for sure.
Well, when I put my Rogue One placement in there, I'll delve a little deeper into that. What did I say? I said episode 7?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which I love and adore. It is, there are, just like, you said with Jedi, you the more you see it, the more you see little problems here and there that it does have. And it is it is New Hope again and blah, blah, blah. But I still love it. And, it made me care more about characters that, than some films have tried to set up character development in 3 movies or 2 movies, and they made me care within the 2-hour time frame about these characters more than I care about some characters from the original trilogy.
Yeah. For Rogue One, for me, again, over time, might that change? Maybe over more viewings. I think it's great. Again, like the Sith is really good, but these four are put them on. I'm gonna watch them.
Yeah.
You know, this one and then the next three, but it's really really strong. I think that it has, you know, maybe a few minor issues both with pacing and geography and stuff like that. I think it's the most emotional Star Wars movie by a lot.
Yeah.
It's visually amazing. It's a great movie. It's a really great movie with great characters. And just maybe a couple issues that would stand out, maybe even more as time goes by. Primarily, again, spoilers from here on out. I think most people have seen it by now. It's made like $700 million already. The Tarkin thing, I think, will only get worse as time goes by.
Yeah, that's really one of my big issues with it.
And he's not a small part of the movie either. It's like 3 or 4 scenes.
He could have, like, you did.
Oh yeah, but he's not.
No, sure.
That's the thing. Like, it's really good though. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is New Hope.
So tell me why I'm wrong.
I mean, I think it's a great movie. I mean, of all the reasons that have already been said, that New Hope, I think it's weird that you think Sith is better than New Hope. I think New Hope holds up way better than Sith has.
Well,
over the years.
I mean, it depends how we're like. I'm doing this on personal preference and personal. Like, do I think New Hope is a better movie? Yes, it's a tighter story. It's got the character moments are better. It's just for me personally, I've seen that movie enough.
Okay, I mean that's fair.
Any other thoughts on it? Or?
No, I think just for me, like, you know, like it's just one of those movies that it doesn't matter for me how many times I've seen it. Like I will, if it's on, I will get sucked into it. Like no, it's not. I'll watch it. Like, cool. I'm here. I am. I'm in it for the 2 hours or whatever it is that's on.
Fair enough. For me, my number 3 would be Jedi.
Okay. So tell me why I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, kind of what I said. I really think that the first 40 minutes of that movie in Jabba's Palace I love, especially if you're talking about the original theatrical edition. I think that the stuff then with Luke and Yoda after they leave there is great. On Dagobah, very emotional when Yoda, dies.
Spoilers.
And then the way that the entirety of the ending plays out, I think, is great too. There's not much about that movie. I get that the Ewoks are not perfect. I don't mind them as much as some people do. Maybe it's because as a kid I loved the Ewoks. I watched the Ewok movies that were on Disney Channel all the time. I see the issues. If I have one major issue with it, and it's my major issue with all 8 movies, really, he's a very small part in Phantom Menace. C-3PO. I hate C-3PO. I really do. I think that he ruins like every scene of every movie he's in. He's annoying to me. He's dumb. He's like the Joan Rivers version of C-3PO from Spaceballs is how I just view C-3PO. I hate him, and he does some really annoying stuff in that one.
Yeah.
But I love that movie. I really do. I think it's the best Luke movie. And Luke is probably my all-time favorite character, although we'll see how things play out. There could be a new all-time favorite. But anyway, number 2.
Number 2 is Rogue One.
Okay. I was starting to wonder if you were about to say that was your number 1.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Force Awakens.
Okay. Like this... I loved Rogue One the first time I saw it. You guys can all go watch our review over at youtube.com/overabeer. But the second time I saw it, like, I loved it even more. Like, I was more emotional the second time. Like, I teared up when I didn't the first time. Like, I don't know if it's just because I knew what was coming. And part of the reason I may or may not have issues the first time I watched it, because I had some theater distractions and stuff. And so the second time I saw it, I had none of that. I think it does have some pacing issues here and there. And like you said, like, the planet all that stuff doesn't really work. But similar to Jedi, like the way they've got these 3 different storylines going on, like those last 40 minutes are just so incredible that even the second time I saw it, I know what it was going to happen. I was still on the edge of my seat, like just so engrossed in this movie. I think Tarkin is one of the big issues of the movie, though. I think it's going to be hopefully not as bad, but potentially in the same way we view things like Clone Wars or Attack of the Clones and Sith, where we look at the CGI effects.
It's a really unfortunate mistake. I hope that they have learned their lesson from the special editions, and it's something that I thought about when Force Awakens came out too. Like, don't change these movies. Don't go back. But part of me hopes that they do go back and make that
like
better.
That would be something I would be okay with them fixing.
And slashfilm.com put up an article the other day that the headline of the article was Lucasfilm had a backup plan if Tarkin didn't work, if CGI Tarkin didn't work. And my initial reaction was, it didn't work. So why didn't they use it? Like, it doesn't. It's distracting. It's become a go-to point of emphasis of something that's not good about the movie, which I don't like.
Sure.
Like,
now,
I also don't like the problem that people say about Force Awakens, because it just gave them ammo.
Now, I will say that having seen it the second time, it didn't stick out as bad. Neither did the like the fan servicey moments of the Cantina guys or C-3PO or R2-D2. I think because I just kind of knew they were coming, like it wasn't just sort of like, out of left field for me. So I was like, okay, like it didn't feel as bad, but it was still a little bit distracting.
Okay, good. I need to see it again soon. I'm excited to. Now that Christmas is over, can kind of find time to do that.
Yeah.
My number 2 again is Force Awakens. It's amazing. It really is. It is in a lot of ways, yes, beat for beat almost A New Hope. It's a better version of A New Hope to me. Mm-hmm. I love the characters, like you said, in almost immediately into that movie. Not even an entire movie.
Yeah.
You care about Rey. You care about Finn. You care about Ben Solo. Mm-hmm. The emotion of what happens to Han is incredible.
Yeah.
The even the emotion that you see from Chewbacca is incredible in that movie. It's so awesome. Like, it's just, I can't wait to see where it goes. It's, again, visually stunning. I love so much of what they did. I'm excited to see more of I'm excited to see more of the characters that we don't know much about, like Poe.
Yeah.
Things like that. I hope that gets fleshed out. But, like, there's almost no, that movie is honestly the Rathgar scene away from being ahead of both of our number 1 for me. If it didn't have, if that played out just differently, that scene, it would probably be ahead of Empire, because it's the only thing about that movie I don't like.
Well, I know a lot of people like to harp on It's a New Hope, It's a New Hope. Yeah, some of the story beats are A New Hope, but it is still very different and is its own movie in its own right. While it still kind of follows certain plot points, like it brings totally different characters in certain ways that we don't get in A New Hope.
Yeah, it does, for sure. It does, though. Again, the Rathgar thing, the other thing that I wish they hadn't done, though, was I wish that there hadn't been a super weapon like the Death Star. I think that movie would have been just as good, if not better, if there was not some device that they had to take out. You could literally just remove that and the movie would have been just as good. It adds nothing seeing a big explosion at the end.
It walks that line for me, kind of going back and forth, because they acknowledge sort of how ridiculous it is. Yeah. Because, Hunt's, so it's bigger, whatever, we'll blow it up. Like, it acknowledges that it's doing they've got another super weapon, so it kind of...
It was just...
It
was unnecessary.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, the emotion that they try and get out... You aren't excited like you are excited when the Death Star gets blown up. It doesn't mean much because you never doubt that it's going to happen. And it's not... The emotion of that movie is not drawn from that, so why even have it in there? Like, when they blow up those unnamed planets, it means nothing.
Yeah.
The one that's Coruscant, but it's not, for some reason. Yeah, they could have done without that. But other than that, I mean, Rey alone is just so awesome. I can't wait to see more Rey. So we both have the same number one.
Yeah.
Deductive reasoning here. Empire Strikes Back. It's the greatest Star Wars movie ever made. It's one of the greatest movies ever made. Why do you love it?
Because, I mean, I do. Like, I mean, it gets to that point where I'm like, I don't know what else to say other than all of the things that have already been said.
Yeah.
Like, it's similar to New Hope, but even more so, where if it's on, I'm sucked in and I'm there till the end. We get our first look of Yoda, who's totally different from the Yoda that's, I don't want to say that we see in the prequels, but like who's kind of become like the popularized version of Yoda. It's just this wacky old.
Oh, he's so different.
Yeah, like he's more of like a comic relief than anything else in that. All the Vader stuff, all the Hoth stuff. I mean, like the whole movie from start to finish is just incredible. Like
It's like perfect.
Yeah, like I don't have any problems with that movie.
That's the whole thing. Like, there's nothing about The Empire Strikes Back that I would change.
Like we could sit here and I could say, I have this problem with Rogue One, or you have this problem with this or that. I don't have any problems with Empire.
No. It's a great movie. It's such a ballsy movie to end on the downer note that it did, and a lot of sequels have tried to beat the next Empire Strikes Back, and some of them have come close, but like, it is the movie that all sequels, unless they're trying to say they're going to be The Godfather 2, they say they're trying to be this. It's fantastic. So, quickly, because we're running out of time.
Do you want to save that for next week?
Oh, we could do that.
We could cut it here and then save our watching.
We're going to talk more about Star Wars in 2017. Imagine that.
Yeah, look at that. Oh no, what I was going to say is, my hope for episode 8 is that it isn't Empire.
No, I really feel like whether or not they agree with those people who say that issue with Force Awakens,
I feel like they had to know. They had to know going in.
But I think they thought people would think that was clever, and not a fault.
I don't really see it as a fault.
It's not a fault, but I'm just saying the widespread amount of criticism of that aspect of Force Awakens, I think they will be different.
Yeah.
And I think they had more time to be different too. Force Awakens, it came out only 3 years after Disney's acquisition and the announcement that they would make it.
But Force Awakens also had the task of reigniting everyone's...
That was the important thing.
Exactly.
It did that.
And it worked. And it did what it set out to do.
I don't think that Rian Johnson signed on to write and direct and then write the following one just to do a retread.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do something that is unexpected, I hope. I can't wait to see where it goes. I literally can't imagine where it's going from here. And I really think that we're just a few weeks away from finally seeing a bit of it, which is so exciting.
So that's how we rank the Star Wars film. How do you guys rank the Star Wars films? Let us know in the comments below, or you can tweet at us. I'm on Twitter at Rich Belson.
I'm at Stonks.
The channel is on is on Twitter at OABeer_official. And you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/overabeer, or on Instagram at over_a_beer. And of course, we're right here at youtube.com/overabeer. That'll wrap things up for today, though. Next week, tune in for our discussion on the proper viewing order now of the Star Wars movies for a newcomer. We'll talk about that. Hopefully, probably as in depth as we talked about this
I think so,
discussion. So that'll wrap things up. Until next time, drink up
and buttermilk.